Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. So, for the last couple weeks, I've been mentioning to you guys that it's been kind of weird and trippy, and however else you want to label it, with all the kind of things that have been happening in my life and things that I've been witnessing, as far as like people having babies, announcing their pregnancies, getting married, getting engaged, buying houses, and making all these big moves and things like that. And how that's been on the outside, but not just that, but the way that I've had to kind of shift my perspective on that whole thing, right? Because at first, for those of you guys who have listened to the episode, you guys already know what I'm talking about. For those of you guys who are just tuning in for your first one, what I'm talking about with all that stuff is at first I was kind of feeling like really left out, right? Like at the base of it all, like I was feeling really left out. I felt like a why me? Like why am I seeing all this stuff? Like why is it not happening to me? I know it's very cheesy and very corny and like it's not your time, it's not your time, but in reality, it's not. And when I had to really sit with that and realize what it is that I'm seeing and why I'm looking at all this from the point that I am, there's something really beautiful about that. And it's like, look, I'm getting to witness all this for a reason. I'm getting to experience all of this for a reason. And it's like to see what love is, to see what happiness is, and also to be included in these experiences for all these different people. Because I've been included in so many different things, but I'm always still shocked that like people want me involved in these situations. Like a buddy of mine recently moved into his apartment with his girl. And I was a part of that whole experience of them like applying for the apartment, getting it, and then moving in and just everything about it. And I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. Like how special this is. And to be one of these people that's included in this and that we want you to be a part of it. And it's an honor, right? And to share their engagement, to share, everything that they're kind of going through and dealing with from a firsthand basis. It's not like somebody's telling me about it. It's like, this is what I'm experiencing with them. I'm taking these steps with them. And there's something so beautiful about that. So when I really started to step back and say, hey, you know what? This is kind of amazing to see this and to see all my people around me making it and doing it and making these moves and kind of setting these stones so that they know where to walk and that they have somewhere stable to stand. Because it gives me something to look forward to, something to work towards, something that I'm continuously trying to find and uncover. Because those are things that I want for myself, right? If at some point, I end up having a kid, that'd be rad. If I find somebody, hopefully, to end up marrying one day and kind of end up in this really beautiful relationship that can continue growing and building on itself, because that's a whole feat in itself. But that's something I really want. It's something I want to work towards. I love love. I love relationships and like the things that they bring, especially when they're in the healthy state. And it's tough. They are really tough. Relationships are a lot of work, but they're worth it, especially with the right person that's giving you back everything that you're putting into it. And that's what I've been struggling with so much, especially in the last year and a half, 2 years, even before that. That was a big part of the struggle, was just, it was like a tug of war. And I was like, nah, dude, this isn't right. And landing or fast forwarding up to today and seeing all of these people around me land in these positions and be where they are, it's like, okay, this is what it is to see, view, and experience healthy love from everything, from everyone. And it's like, take your notes. You're seeing this and you're experiencing it for a reason. Take your notes. This is how you should feel with these people. This is how you should feel with your partner, the person that you love, the person that you care for. You should be excited. You should feel this. You should feel that. You shouldn't feel angst and pressure and negativity. And, you shouldn't be scared to share something with your partner because they're going to turn around and blow up or something like that. It's like, hold on. Everything needs to get reassessed. So again, I'm looking at all of this and taking my notes. And I've been very fortunate to do so. And I came across something because I've also realized, which we've talked about this before too, like within my whole mental health journey and kind of going about everything the way that I am now, that I have to choose myself. I have to choose the things that make me happy. I have to choose the things that I want to do that bring me just this sort of raw emotion that I miss, And I have to be very conscious of that. Very, very conscious. And it's tough because I would like to say that I'm a people pleaser. My therapist thinks so, friends think so, and it's like that. Yeah, 100%. I will put people's needs and wants and everything's before my own. It's that simple. That's what I do, and I have to stop doing that because that's not how you get anywhere in life. I think it's okay to do things for people. It's okay to put others before yourself, but that can't be the motive and the move 100% of the time. Me personally, I feel like that's how you end up falling on your face. And for myself, I've definitely fallen on my face because of that. And it's like, this could have all been avoided if I simply put myself first. So whether it's family events or certain things for friends or just, like automotive events, anything like that, if I don't want to be somewhere, I'm just like, nah, I just can't do it. I don't need to justify it. I don't need to say why, who, what, when, where, anything. It's just, I'm just not going. And it's that simple. I don't have to make up excuses. I don't have to do anything. And don't get me wrong, for certain things and certain people, I do. I will say, hey, XYZ is going on, or, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. Just to avoid conflict, because I don't want to fucking deal with it. Because some people can't really handle the simple, like, no. And they're almost like offended by that. And it's like, okay, you know what? Today I don't feel like doing that. A lot of the times I don't fucking mind. Like if I tell you no, it is what it is. I'm not going to answer your questions. I don't want to do anything. And you also shouldn't ask me. Because if I tell you no, or I'm just, not going, or I won't be able to make it, that should be enough. And you should respect that. Because no is a perfect response. It is a complete response. And that's something I've also been learning about recently too. I was reading about this whole thing, like the power of no in a sense. And basically that's what it boiled down to. Like this thing that I read, that's what it's about, is just that no is a complete sentence. And I know I've shared that with you guys before, but it is. No is enough, right? Like, that's all. So I have to listen to that. And right now it's super fucking loud. Super, super loud. And I read something that kind of just, it made me, like, it reinforced today's episode. And I was like, that's it. Like, that's fucking it. Because I want to talk to you guys about this today. Just kind of everything that's been going down, what I've kind of boiled it down to, at least where I'm at with it all. Because some people have been curious. They're like, dude, like, how are you taking it? Like, how are things changing? How are, all of that. So when I read this, I was like, reinforcement. And I love that. I love when the universe will kind of give me a moment where it's like, hey, I know you were planning on doing this, but let me just kind of give you a little bit more to push you to continue doing exactly what you were going to do. So what I read was that as soon as you choose yourself, everything starts to choose you too. And there's a passage that came after that. And the passage reads this: when you finally choose yourself, you choose faith, you choose trust. You start to remember all the good things that have come from the bad, and we surrender all the things that are sucking away at our energy and our peace. Everything else chooses us. And there was just something about that was so, it hit so close to home. And again, out of the blue, and it just kind of reinforced what we were going to talk about today. And I said, damn, dude, that's it. Because I've noticed, as of recent, I've made certain decisions career-wise that, like, I've fully chosen myself, whether it's to deny work, whether it's to accept work, whether it's to do certain things, and that those things have kind of also chosen me too. And it's like it's paid me back in a way because I've made those decisions. And I'm like, okay, I like that. I like that. I like where this is going. This is exciting. Like, I just took on a project recently that it's a bit of an investment on my side, because the company themselves, like, it's a startup. I don't want to give too much information because I can't right now. But what I can tell you guys is it's a startup. It's really exciting. And they don't necessarily have the budget. And there's 2 other people competing for this job. What they're bidding is really insane. And I honestly don't see any justification for that. And I was approached about it because a friend of mine is involved in this project. And he was like, hey, dude, I don't know if this is something that you'd be willing to take on or if you'd be willing to invest in, but this is what it is. So he pitched me the project, what the company's about, what they're trying to do. And I was like, okay. So what is it that you're asking of me? Starts breaking it down and was like, design. We need visuals. We need you. And we have 2 other people. I'm going to be honest with you. We have 2 other people that are submitting, that are going to be submitting for the product, the actual label for the product, and just like our branding in general. So I was like, okay, I understand. I got you. So we start talking a little bit more. Long story short, I accepted. I don't accept a lot of projects like this because I tend to have to invest not just my time, my money, my energy. It's just, there's so many things on my end. And it's like, as an artist and as a creative, sometimes we have to look at things from the whole shot and just kind of say, okay, is this worth it right now? Is this worth the investment? Because you're going to take a shot on something. You're going to invest your time. You're going to invest hundreds of hours probably on projects. And it's like, you need to think, is this what it's going to be? Right? Like right now, I'm probably close to, and I just started this project. Like we're in it a couple days. Dude, I'm probably in close to 80 hours all in all. Like from research up until where I'm at right now, about 80 hours. So, but we're going to pull up on 100 pretty fucking close, especially after some work that I have to finish off for the rest of the week. So it's like, if I'm to charge for those hours, again, not that I charge hourly, it depends on the project, depends what's going on. But for certain things, if I was to charge where I'm at right now, they literally don't even have the budget to cover that. And we're in super early, very preliminary stages. So this is an investment that I'm making on my own. I'm putting in my time, my energy, my everything to just kind of say, hey, I believe in you guys and I believe in this project. And this is how much I believe in it. And I know that they're going to succeed. And I'm hoping that things work out, because if we can work together and things can really move along, this can really be something to stand on. Not just for them, but also for myself too. So it's exciting. But me choosing that has given me also so much, you guys. Like, it's reinforced why I do what I do. Because I don't get to do like branding and like all kinds of really like heavy corporate work all the time. And I love that type of shit. Like, it's really daunting. There's a lot to it, especially when you're starting from the ground up. But it's rare to get opportunities like this. And again, I've had very, very few where someone comes up to me and says, I need everything, or I need you to build a brand for me. And it's really fun, to be honest with you, when someone says, I don't have a lot of money, because then I can turn around and strip shit down. And it's like, okay, what is it that you need? What are the bare bones pieces that you need? And how are we going to get you from A to B right now? We need to get you off the ground. So that's really exciting for me. And again, when I have opportunities like this, I don't always accept them. And this one, I had to run for it. Not just because it's my boy and it's someone that I love and care for and I've known for a very long time, but it's because of what the company is and what it stands for and who's behind it and everything that it can be. Like, I see the potential. I see exactly where it can land. And I'm like, fuck, man, this is really something dope. I can see it. I can feel it. So me investing in this has allowed also this company to invest in me too in multiple ways, and also show myself what I'm made of, because it's cool, the stuff that I've created so far, and I'm excited. And one day I'll be able to release that stuff here, whether it's on the podcast or my personal page, most likely on my personal page. But regardless, I can't wait to share that project. And I'm really hoping that I'm the one that gets chosen for this, because then we can continue walking forward. And if not, it's okay. It's honestly okay. I think the main thing is I'm able to show myself what I'm made of, and also what choosing myself can do for my work alone. That choosing something that I really want to work on, that I really want to be a part of and invest in, then it's like, this is how it pays you. This is it. This is what happens when you choose things and then they choose you. And also I'm taking that and applying it to other parts of my life. Things with family. You know, like, I think family is a very interesting word. I can't say that I know it very well. Like, from a blood standpoint, like, I have my mom, I have my grandma, my uncle who passed. I have another one of my uncles that lives in in Arizona, excuse me. And that's it. That's like my real family. Those are the people that I knew to be my family. And I have people that have come into my life, my chosen family. Those people I know so well. And like, I've made those choices, and sometimes they haven't always been right, but with time, I've been able to shift things around, and those people have stuck around. And I'm like, yeah, this is it. They've shown me what is good. And it's like, this is what happens when you choose good things. Good things return to you in that sense, because they choose you also. And I have to keep doing that. And I've made choices as of recent that I'm like, this isn't good for me. Attending this thing, this family event or whatever, is not good for me because all these people are there. And I don't need their judgments. I don't need their bullshit. I don't want to have conversation with them. Like, I don't have to do that. I'm a grown ass man. If I don't want to be somewhere, if I don't want to talk to somebody, I don't have to do that. There's nothing, nowhere, nobody that's going to tell me I have to be somewhere that I don't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So I have to choose myself, to choose my happiness. Put that first in the most violent way. Like, no, I don't want to do this. I like this. This makes me happy. I'm going to go do that. I'd much rather go for a drive. I'd much rather go get a sandwich somewhere. Like, I want to do what I want to do. And again, when I make those choices, sometimes even if they're difficult in the moment, when I make those choices, they make all the difference, because it's almost like that same thing that I'm choosing is choosing me. And it feels so good. Even if it's the simplest thing, like just like I was talking about, going to get a sandwich. If I really wanted to go get a sandwich and I go get it and it's so good, it's like, this was for me right now. I know it might sound silly. It might sound dumb to a lot of you guys, but try shit like that. If you don't do things like that, put yourself first. Just try shit. You want to go get a donut because you really want that? Go do that and go tell me after how good that fucking donut was. It makes a huge difference. All of that makes a difference. And you know what? With people, it's even stronger. When there's people out there, for example, that aren't choosing you, and you're continuously going on this path and choosing them, and sometimes it's okay. It returns a certain way and you feel all right about it. But let's be honest, the majority of the time it's pretty shit, because those people probably aren't going to choose you all the time, the same way that you would choose them all the time. But think about it like this. What happens if the people that you're constantly choosing are constantly choosing you? It seems really simple, right? It seems so black and white, but it's not, because we don't do that. We literally do not do that. We are taught to do the opposite. Like for myself, again, being a people pleaser, you will always choose other people rather than choose yourself. And that includes putting other people first who are selfish, who are self-centered, who are all kinds of things. But you're like, it's because it's going to make them happy, so I'm going to do it. And you can't. So again, I'm looking at all of this right now and I'm adjusting, constant adjustments. And I know I'm talking about this a lot, and I've been for the last couple months, that I'm making adjustments and doing this and doing that. But it's just what's happening in my life. It's what's happening. Things keep going down that I have to keep adjusting. And I get that. Life is ever changing. Nothing stays the same. I get that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with change to a certain extent. Sometimes it's obviously really hard to deal with it. But where I'm getting at is just that in these moments, I'm realizing more and more that when I choose these things, they also return and choose me. And it kind of secures that. It secures the decisions that I'm making, the people that I'm really investing my time into, and notice that the investment is returned tenfold. You know, even certain people that, let's say, have been kind of like wishy-washy and then randomly like make a comeback. And I'm like, huh, I pay attention to stuff like that. Because maybe there's a reason why. There's a reason why there's a comeback right now. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes things don't have to be looked into so much. I think you can just kind of take it for what it is. And if in that moment it's good for you and it feels good and it feels right and everything is okay, choose that. I don't think you have to look into and break shit down all the time. I think that makes life kind of miserable. And then you start to get all like conspiracy theorist about shit. And it's like, look, and this is no shot at the conspiracy theorist homies that I have, but hear me out. For example, with conspiracy theories, it fucks a lot of shit up, right? Because you're just like, I don't believe this. I don't believe what's going on. I don't believe any of this shit. You can also do that and psych yourself out in your life, right? You start to think and you're like, what are the ulterior motives? What is this? What is this? Why does this person like act like this? How come they say shit like this? How come they respond to their text like that? You don't need that. It's not that deep. I promise you. And the other people in your life, it's probably not that deep for them because they can probably care less. Just make the decisions that benefit you the most. That's what this is all about. I think if you do things with a kind heart, with good intention, all of that's going to be returned to you in that exact same way. If you are just putting out your purest self, life has nothing else to return to you. But in a sense, yourself. It's giving you a mirror, and what it's going to return to you is also something great. It's something pure. It's something good. It's beneficial. It's what you need. And I'm trying to put myself in these shoes that I can just kind of look at things for what they are, take them for that moment, and not have to sit there and, let's say, just constantly bring up shit from the past. Do I keep things noted? 110%. I do. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. There's a lot of things I'm still working on, especially when it comes to things like that, because some of those things that I have noted, like, that's pretty heavy. And I don't know if I can just like walk past that and let that go. Maybe other people around me can be okay with that, and that's cool. Shouts to them. Shouts to them for having the strength to do that, because for myself, boy, we're still learning right now. We're still learning. I'm probably going to be learning about that shit for a while, but it's all right. At the end of it all, in that moment, if it's okay, it's okay. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to put too much time, energy. I don't need that. I don't need that drainage right now, because I feel like my tanks are so depleted in every which way from everything that I have. Like my love, my energy, my just everything good that I have. Like everything is so low. It's so depleted. But again, I'm noticing with certain things, certain people, they're feeding that, and they're helping me fill my cups, or helping me fill my tanks again. And I'm just like, okay. Like I take my deep breaths and I keep it pushing. I keep it moving. I've been really heavy with the homies, like hitting them up, hey dude, I'm thinking about you. I love you. I hope you have a beautiful day. I've been really heavy with that because I need that. And the people that I reach out to, they also return it to me, not because I asked that of them, because they do it. It comes from a genuine place in their heart. They're concerned. They care, Like I have a buddy right now that is going through like a newly discovered anxiety, essentially, because he's never been or never gone through the point of like going to a doctor and actually being told that like, hey, you're dealing with anxiety and this is how we're going to battle it. But he's dealing with this right now, right? It's very foreign, it's very new, and it's scary for him. We're talking about medications that are getting brought in, different things, and like it's a lifestyle change. I think when, especially as an adult, when you're being told, hey, you have anxiety and you have this, it's very different from when like you hear this whole like TikTok generation and bullshit ass people on Instagram being like, oh, if you feel XYZ, you have this, you have this. We're not talking about self-diagnosis. We're talking about clinical diagnosis. You being a grown-ass adult, thinking that things are a one way in your life, and then you crash all of a sudden, you feel some sort of way, you have this really scary episode, let's say a panic attack. You've never felt that before. You feel like you're dying. Next thing you know, you go to a doctor, again, as an adult, and they're like, hey, so what you're experiencing is anxiety. And we're going to figure something out. It's going to be okay. And these are things that like I talk about with him, and it's like, dude, this type of shit doesn't last forever. It's really scary right now, but you get a hold of it. For myself, it's sad, but I had dinner with a friend of mine last night, and they were like, that's crazy that your homie's just now experiencing this, like from a medical standpoint, that a doctor is telling him like, hey, this is what you're experiencing. Because for myself, it's like, I don't know what that is to live without it. And I was like, isn't that crazy? Like, isn't that the craziest shit? Like, I can't remember. Like, and you know what? That is a little far-fetched, because I can remember my life without it. But the thing is, I remember a majority of my life with it, because ever since I can remember, I've been dealing with some sort of like anxiety issues. Like anxiety and depression have been very, very forward and present in my life since I was a kid. So it's like, that must be crazy to kind of go through life and not have any of those things. I'm always so jealous of people who, it's one thing to experience. You can have and experience anxiety, but when you have it from a clinical standpoint, it's like a constant. And I'm so jealous of people who don't have that. I'm like, wow, it must be so nice to like just go through life and live without any sort of angst, and you can just do whatever you want, and anything. And life just must be so freeing. Must be so freeing. Because again, you can experience episodes of things and not be like clinically deemed whatever it is that's going on. So like have that like some sort of clinical anxiety or clinical depression or things like that. Because again, right, like you can experience times of depression. If you lose someone, something goes down that's really heavy in your life and you just feel like something, like someone dropped a whole ton of bricks on you, you can experience symptoms of depression and not be clinically depressed, where you're sad all the fucking time, right? So that's okay. But again, for him, this is something that he's just now coming around, and he's like, oh fuck, this is really heavy. And he was talking to me about it, and I'm like, dude, look, the most important thing to remind yourself is this shit doesn't last forever. You learn to live with it in a healthy way. It's not something that just kind of looms over you. It's not this dark cloud that you carry with for the rest of your life. It's just one of those things you start to, the way I like to think about it is it's like storm tracking. Like it reminds me of like Twister. You get to a certain point where you start to be able to tell and you can read the signs the same way. Like, for example, in Twister, these people are trying to get to a certain point where they can map tornadoes and see where they're coming and look at these storms and see how they're forming. That's how I compare anxiety, because that's what it feels like sometimes. And you can kind of pick up on signs and you can kind of feel certain things in your body and you're like, okay, I'm starting to feel kind of uneasy, or, everybody feels in a different way. My neck's starting to feel tight, or my chest is starting to feel tight. My breathing is changing. You start to notice, and then all of a sudden the storm hits. You have an anxiety attack or something is happening. You have some sort of episode that's just detrimental. And all of a sudden it's fucking Mayday. Exactly how like when Twisters break down, right? Shit's kind of looming, shit's going down. All of a sudden that shit drops to the ground and it's just havoc. It's a fucking mile wide. Everything inside its path is going to die. And that's what it feels like. For those of you guys who experience anxiety or you've had severe episodes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's really shit. And again, being an adult, it can be very foreign to experience things like that when you've never had any sort of medical issues or you've never had to deal with things like that. It's scary. But I'm like, look, dude, it doesn't last forever. And some of these things now is you're going to have to be very, very aware of your triggers, things that make you happy, things like that. Why? Because those are the things you need to do and stay away from, right? Your triggers, stay away from them. Be aware of them. What does it? Who does it? Because it's not just like places or things or whatever. People can be triggers too. You can see a certain person and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a fucking day. I already know. It's like, shit like that. Recognize it. Remove yourself from the situation. Things that make you happy, be hyper aware of that. Do things that are good for you. If you like taking walks, you like going into nature, go do that. That's probably what you need. You need to connect with yourself. You need to connect with things that make you feel good, that fill you up in the best possible way. Go do that. If you feel like going to go do something good today, go do something good, right? So again, it's weird how even though these different people in my life are experiencing different things, it's like we're all kind of connected in the sense of right now, we are all very much on this path to like put things that make us feel good in front of ourselves. Do things that are right for you, that you feel are right for you. Because if you feel that it's right and it feels right and it's good, and you make that decision and it's like, yes, and it fucking pays you back to show you like, hey, you made the right decision. Then it's like, this is the shit I need to keep doing. Like with my homies that just got their apartment. They were so nervous about the whole thing and like, oh my God, where are we going to go? What's going to happen? This and that. They applied. They felt it. They were there and they were just like, dude, there was something about it. We had to do it. They were like, oh, dude, we applied for it. They're going to let us know in a couple of days. The next day, they were like, hey, you got it. It's yours if you want it. We get in there. They moved in. Again, I go check the place out and I'm like, it feels so right. I'm like, this was for you guys. I don't know how to explain it. This feels like your guys' place. It's not just an apartment that you moved into. This was for you. You were supposed to come here, look at this spot, walk through it and feel some sort of way like this is where your life is going to start. Your new life, this life that you and your wife are creating. That's the beauty of it all. And I'm noticing these things again from multiple perspectives, but I'm seeing it all just kind of be like, okay, when you choose yourself and you choose good things, it's like those things also choose you. And what I want to close out on is something that I had mentioned earlier. And it was actually it was going to be today's advice. So what I realized about all this, about choosing love and like choosing all these things and things that are good for you and choosing yourself, putting yourself first, it's not selfish in any means. It's things that you need to do. It's that self-care. It's self-care at its highest level, in my opinion, at its highest level. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it's selfish, because it's not. Choosing yourself is not a selfish thing. That is self-fucking-care. And we don't do that. We are told that it's selfish to put yourself first, and that's fucking wrong. The people who are saying shit like that are saying that because they are not being put first in their lives. And they are not choosing themselves. They need other people to choose them. And you can't do that. You have to be able to choose yourself. Put that happiness first, right? And at the end of the day, this is where the advice comes in. Vincent Van Gogh said something that's always stuck with me. And this was also part of my conversation last night at dinner. But this quote in itself is always just, it's hit really close to home. And it's, what is done in love is well done. So remember that. What is done in love is well done. Every time you do something from the purest points of your heart, the purest points of your mind, your body, your soul, and if you do it with love, with good intention, with positivity, with something that is good, that's it. That's all you can do. When you want to help people, if it comes from a good place, that's it. If you're going to do something for someone that you love and that you care for your partner, whoever it may be, if it comes from a good place, that's all that can be done. However it's received, whatever's given back to you, even if it's not the best thing, know in your heart and for yourself that you did the absolute, and this came from the purest of places with the best of intentions. That's it. The rest of it, you got to just let it go to the universe. Whatever happens, happens. But I promise you, whatever is for you will never, never miss you. It will always be there. And when you choose yourself, those things will start to choose you. People, places, things, whatever. What is for you is meant for you. And when you choose yourself, you're allowing those opportunities to come your way. And I'm experiencing it right now. And it's very, very slowly and in very small increments, but I'm experiencing it. And I'm experiencing it right now. And I know that if I continue to choose these things and choose these people and choose these places and things and all of it, that it's going to come back tenfold. Because these things are for me. Some things I feel it and I know it. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes the universe puts shit in your life and you're like, all right, I get it. This is why I was holding out. Because it was supposed to be this. You feel me? So one more time, you guys. What is done in love is well done. So I thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you guys for listening, for watching. However you guys are taking in this podcast. I appreciate all your love, your support, your comments, your shares, all the conversations that happen because of all these things. I appreciate y'all. And shouts to all my homies, again, that are over here getting engaged, getting married, having babies, moving into different places, buying houses, traveling, all these things. I love y'all so much, and I'm so happy for y'all. And thank you for bringing me along on this journey with you guys. So I appreciate y'all. I will catch you guys on the next one. Have a beautiful rest of your week, an incredible weekend, and I'll talk to y'all soon.